In 2012, 93% of soy planted was herbicide tolerant, engineered to withstand herbicides sold by the same companies who patent and sell the seeds. 73% of all corn is now also genetically modified to withstand chemical production to kill competing weeds. Genetically modified organisms have become somewhat of a hot topic recently. With the creation of GMOs over 30 years ago, more questions have come up regarding the safety of plants, animals, humans, and the environment. Today we're going to explore the world of GMOs. We will go over what a GMO is, how they are harmful to humans and the environment, and how to avoid them in your everyday life. Let's start with understanding what GMOs are and a bit about their history. In an article called Genetic Engineering, Will Genetic Engineering Improve People's Lives?, it states that more than 30 years ago, geneticists spliced a gene from a toad into a bacterium, creating the first transgenic organism ever, and thus the creation of GMOs. Dictionary.com defines a GMO as an organism or microorganism whose genetic material has been altered to give that organism desired traits. Currently, the leading company for chemical manufacturing of GMOs is Monsanto. An article by Brian Tokar gives some history about the company. Monsanto was founded in 1901 by John Francis Queeny, a self-educated chemist. In the 1940s, plastic and synthetic fibers had become the main part of Monsanto's business. At that time, Monsanto was manufacturing styrene and polystyrene plastic, which are still important constituents of consumer products today. In the 1980s, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, listed polystyrene as fifth in its ranking of chemicals who generates the most hazardous waste. Today, glyphosate herbicides such as Roundup account for 1/6 of Monsanto's total annual sales of the company's operating income. There's an endless amount of Monsanto's background. There's been countless cover-ups by Monsanto to hide that their chemicals that they use for GMOs actually can cause cancer or other harmful chronic illnesses. All those years ago, there was a major advancement made. While it was thought that this would be something beneficial to the world, recent studies of GMOs and their effects on the human body has proven that GMOs might be the cause of major health illnesses in humans. These are some facts from an article called 10 Ways to Avoid GMOs. Doctors all over the world are prescribing non-GMO diets for their patients after they discovered the genes of GMO soy transferred to the DNA of bacteria in other humans. Insecticide produced by GM corn was found in the blood of pregnant women and even their unborn babies. The use of GM bovine growth hormone found in treated cow's milk has more hormone IGF-1 or insulin-like growth factor 1. This hormone has been linked to cancer and is still currently used today. Since the introduction of GMOs in 1996, the percentage of humans with these or more chronic illnesses jumped from 7% to 13% in just 9 years. With an increase in food allergies, reproductive disorders, and digestive problems, one would actually start to think that these could be terrible, right? Not only are they harmful to humans, but also to the environment. Once GMO seeds or crops are planted or crops are sprayed with GM Roundup, these chemicals stay in the soil forever, which means that, let's say you're a farmer who's growing GMO corn, and one day you decide you want to grow organic corn. You could plant your organic seeds, however, all the chemicals that are left in the soil by GM Roundup or the seeds that were planted before would be absorbed into those organic crops that are trying to grow, and then they would become a GMO crop. The weed killer that you use on your home, let's say around your driveway, are genetically put into the seeds that grow into the food that we eat. U.S. farmers sprayed 383 million pounds of herbicide on their farms between the years of 1996 to 2008. GM crops and herbicides can also harm insects, birds, amphibians, marine ecosystems, and soil organisms. The Roundup herbicide has shown to cause birth defects and organ damage to animals at very low doses. So if it's causing harm to animals, it's more than likely causing harm to humans. If you ask the average American whether he or she has ever eaten a GMO, 60% will more than likely say no. 15% will say I don't know. Of that 60%, the majority of them don't even know what a GMO is. The reason GMOs are not commonly talked about is because the press keeps GMO topics out of the front lines of news. There are also very few laws that require GMOs to be labeled on food products. With that being said, there are ways to spot GMOs when buying your groceries. Monsanto controls a program called Feeding America, and since we've already talked about some negative things about Monsanto, put 2 and 2 together and figure out that Feeding America will contain things with GMOs. General Mills cereals also contains GMOs. However, an article titled U.S. Food Companies Find Going Non-GMO No Easy Feat informs us that the surge of non-GMO products has caused bigger companies like General Mills to try to make advances to not have GMO chemicals in their food. When shopping, look for non-processed foods, products labeled USDA organic and USDA certified organic vegetables and fruits. Doing this will take some extra time, more than likely having to drive further away since there's not many places around here that carry more organic options. However, the choice between driving further and spending more or having a lifelong illness, it's not that big of that hard of a choice. In conclusion, we talked about what a GMO is, which is dictionary.com defined as an organism or microorganism whose genetic material has been altered to give that organism a genetic trait. We also talked about how GMOs are harmful to human health by learning that GMO chemicals are found in human blood and unborn babies. We also learned that GMOs affect the environment and the animals just trying to live and survive by polluting waterways and destroying homes for these animals and insects everywhere. We covered a couple ways to avoid buying GMOs by not buying things that are labeled Feeding America and purchasing USDA certified organic foods. Cleaning up your cabinets and pantries to rid them of harmful chemicals is a long and expensive process. However, it is definitely the best choice.